So now today we are going to discuss the remaining topics of module 4. So in that, first we are going to start with the bilinear transformation and frequency warping. So then I am going to discuss about bilinear transformation design procedure. So later I am going to cover remaining two topics based on filter design and realization using direct form 1 and direct form 2. So first we will begin with the topic called bilinear transformation and frequency warping. Okay, so we'll move on to that topic because this is a topic we have left in the module 4. So remaining topics I already covered in the online and offline classes. So we'll move on to that now. So here, bilinear transformation and frequency warping. So in this section, so we are going to develop a bilinear transformation. So bilinear transformation is nothing but it converts an analog filter function into a digital filter function. So otherwise it is also called as bilinear. So it is also allows us to convert digital filter specifications into analog filter specifications. It can be done vice versa. So first, how to do this? We will do only concentration for analog to digital filter. So because of this, here we have to derive a small derivation so that I am going to use that derivation in solving the problems. So in this topic, I will use two types of transformations. One is Laplace transform and the second is Z transform. So when I say Laplace transform, there the variable which is used as S. When I say the Z transform, the variable which is used as Z. So now how to find this equation which can be used in solving the problems. So what I will do, so I will consider one continuous signal and I will call it as x of t. Then solving the continuous signal using the integration of calculus or numerical recursive method. Using any two methods, I am going to find the area of that continuous signal. The same signal is shown here. So this is x of t. Okay. So in this x of t, this is a continuous signal here which is shown and it is sampled from 0 to n of t here. Whereas 0 to t is the limit of x of t. So this can be written as in terms of integration as y of t equals to integration of 0 to t x of t into dt. So I have represented this continuous signal in integration form. So now our intention is we need to convert this into digital. Means first I have to convert this into a discrete. So to convert this to a discrete, so let us consider only one sample. So here we have considered only this sample now. So in this sample, so it is divided as first sample starts with n of t. I call it as x of n here. And second sample which is shown here, which is called as x of n minus 1 here. So we are called it as reverse engineering. So two samples are used to represent one continuous signal with having a sampling pair capital T now. So here the interval of this sample we call it as x of n is n of capital T and the interval of x of n minus 1 I call it as n minus 1 into t. So because x of n I call it as a present signal, x of n minus 1 I call it as the past signal of x of n. And here we are discussing about IIR filter. So all the past values of input and the output are matter while designing any filter. So because of this, we have considered one sample here, that is with the sampling period capital T, okay, where x of n I call it as a present signal with the interval n of t and x of n minus 1 is the past with the interval n minus 1 into t. So it means that x of n, in that n can be replaced by nt and n minus 1 can be replaced by n minus 1 into t. Similarly, in IIR filter, this output of this x of t not only present on the input but also depends on the present and the past values of the output. So that's why here we have shown y of n is the output for an input signal x of n, and y of n minus 1 is the output for the past value of x of n minus 1. So using this, I am going to write the difference equation. So that I will show you once I will go through this derivation. So now what I have done, I have written this continuous signal which is sampled with a sampling period capital T and with the time period of 0 to t. So here y of t equals to integration of 0 to t x of t into dt. We call it as equation 1. So now what I am going to do, so I call it as x of t is the curve function and y of t is the area under the curve. So this is the total function which we are going to convert into digital. So therefore now I can say that, so let us consider the Laplace or applying the Laplace transform here. When I apply the Laplace transform for the given function, so what I will get? So integration of 0 to t x of t becomes x of s divided by s. So this is how the Laplace transform is done. X of t it becomes x of s because s is the variable used in the Laplace transform. So with the limit has 0 to t, so therefore we have written here equation 1 is written in equation 2, which is written as y of t becomes y of s, x of t becomes x of s divided 1 by s. So 1 by s is the variable function of Laplace transform. If it is x square of t, then 1 by s is changed to 1 by s square plus s. So this is how the Laplace transform is applied, but for your syllabus there is no Laplace transform derivation. So just remember that the Laplace transform for the integration of 0 to t into x of t is x of s by s. So now here we will rearrange this equation, we will get it as I call it as g of s, nothing but y of s divided by x of s. I will take it to the denominator, this becomes 1 by s. So let us consider as equation 3 now. So similarly I want to write the differential equation because our intention is to find out the equation which converts this analog signal into digital or discrete. So here what I am going to do, so let us examine this numerical integration shown in figure 1. So this is a figure 1 here into a differential equation. So that can be written as y of n equals to y of n minus 1 because this is a past value of this integration or this area under curve here. Y of n equals to y of n minus 1 plus. So here it also depends on x of n and x of n minus 1. So total 2 samples are there. So we can write as x of n plus x of n minus 1 by 2, and they are separated with a sampling period capital T. So therefore the differential equation is written as y of n equals to y of n minus 1 plus x of n plus x of n minus 2 by 2 into t. So here we have explained the same thing, that x of n can be replaced by nt and n minus 1 can be replaced by n minus 1 into t. So now the same thing is explained here. So what I want to find out the Z transform, because Laplace transform represents analog signal, Z transform represents digital signal. So now I will find the inverse Z transform for the given difference equation. So what I will get it as, so y of n becomes y of z, y of n minus 1 becomes z raised to minus 1 into y of z, then t by 2 here is constant, so take it as outside, x of n becomes x of z, and x of n minus 1 becomes z raised to minus 1 into x of z. So now I have taken the inverse Z transform. So if I apply the Z transform here, let us separate y of z and x of z. So what I will get? So we will get it as y of z will take at one side and x of z will take at one side. So this becomes y of z if it moves to the LHS side. So sorry, this term if it moves to here, that is LHS side, what I will get? 1 minus z is to minus 1, right? And here t by 2, if I take x of z common here, becomes 1 plus z is to minus 1. So it is written directly here, h of z equals to y of z by x of z, t by 2 is constant, in that 1 plus z is to minus 1 left here, and here we got 1 minus z is to minus 1. So we got this one. Now this it can be written as, so here we got this can be written as h of z, because this is a transfer function for z transform, and this transfer function is equation 5. It should be compared with equation 3 here. So in this equation 3 here, y of s by x of s, only the value of variable is different. That is, this is a s, represents the s plane, there is a z that represents the z plane, where s plane represents analog function, z plane represents digital function or a digital plane. So here y of s by x of s can be written as 1 by s. So comparing these two, we can write it as, so now I can say that comparing these two, we can write 1 by s, because y of s by x of s, y of s by x of s is nothing but 1 by s. There can be replaced by y of z by x of z, both are same here. So y of z by x of z or y of s by x of s can be written as 1 by s. So therefore 1 by s equals to t by 2 into 1 plus z is to minus 1 by 1 minus z is to minus 1. So if I again simplify this by writing this like this, so here, so I will show you how to written this one. So this can be written as, so you can written it as 1 by s equals to, so 2 by t into bracket of 1 plus z is to minus 1 divided by 1 minus z is to minus 1. So this can be simplified as 2 by t in bracket 1 plus 1 by z divided by 1 minus 1 by z, both are same. This equals to 2 by t. Here I will take the LCM for these two. I will get it as, for the numerator it becomes z plus 1 by z divided by z minus 1 by z. So these two z will cancel. I will get it as 2 by t into bracket of z plus 1 by z minus 1. The same thing is written here, it is shown. Okay. So therefore we have written 1 by s equals to t by 2 z plus 1 by z minus 1. So we will solve it for s. So taking reciprocation here, I will get it as s equals to 2 by t into bracket of z minus 1 by z plus 1. Remember, so this is the equation 7. Equation 7 represents the s plane. Okay, the value of the s plane represents the analog function or the analog transfer function. So if I want to convert any digital to analog, I have to replace s in that function by this value. Okay, that it becomes analog to digital or digital to analog. Here for the bilinear transformation method, mapping of or transformation of points from s plane to the z plane, equation 7 can be alternatively written as. So here I can solve it for z also. So we will get it as z equals to 1 plus st by 2 by 1 minus st by 2. So as I said, s represents analog, z represents digital. S represents an analog plane, that is s plane. Z represents z plane, that is digital plane. So now from this, if I solve this one, okay, if I solve this one, we will get z equals to, which I shown here. So just go through that, you will understand. So what I have written here first, I have written s equals to 2 by t, z minus 1 by z plus 1. So multiply t to the RHS side, ts by 2 will get. So you get z minus 1 by z plus 1. So multiply this z plus 1 to this term, we will get it as ts by 2 z plus ts by 2. This one is multiplied here. So if I multiply this, we will get this term equals to z minus 1, because I have multiplied with this term. So now we have to solve it for z. So we will move on to this one now, and here what I get, so t plus ts by 2 plus 1, because I have moved this term to the LHS side and this term to the RHS side. Minus 1 is moved here, and Ts by 2z is moved here. So if I move these two, what I will get? So I will get Ts by 2 plus 1 equals to z minus Ts by 2 to z. So in that you have to take z as common. So this is one term I got, and this is another term by taking z as common, 1 minus Ts by 2. So I have to solve it for z. So we can write z equals to, so this becomes 1 plus st by 2. So I will just rearrange the terms, 1 plus st by 2, and this becomes divided by 1 minus st by 2. Here the steps don't have any marks, therefore here in the derivation it is written directly. Okay, so this is how z is obtained, which represents the digital function, s is obtained, which represents the analog function. I am going to use these two equations while solving the problems. And another important points here, we call it as mapping or frequency warping. Properties summarized here. First, the left half of the S plane is mapped into the inside unit circle of the Z plane, which is shown here. So this is the ROC of the Z plane or Z transform, region of convergence we can call. I hope you guys studied this in Z transform. So here whenever you got the value of Z transform, if it is less than 1 or equals to 1, the area we call it as stable region, which is shown with the shaded part. The outside part of this Z plane is a unstable region. So this is for the Z plane. If I come to the S plane, the area of the left side, we call it as the left side of the S plane is called as stable region, and right side is called as unstable region. So this is used to represent analog, this is used to represent digital. So now from this I can say that according to the first point, here the left of the S plane is nothing but the shaded portion of this stable region, which is said, the left of the S plane is mapped into onto the inside of the unit circle of Z plane. Means in S plane this part is nothing but this one, and in the second point the right of the S plane is mapped outside the unit circle. So this is a unit circle, this is the right part of the S plane, is nothing but outside the Z plane. In the third point, the positive j omega axis, this is a positive j omega axis portion in the S plane is mapped onto the positive half circle on the unit circle. Means this positive j omega of the x axis, this part, okay, this part I will show you. So this part of the S plane represents this part of the Z plane, and again the negative means this part of the S plane represents this part of the Z plane. That is what the sentences are saying. Now using this concept we are going to solve some problems. So those problems we will discuss in the next video. So remember, this is the concept which I am going to use while solving the problems in bilinear transformation and frequency warping. Okay, so now hope it is clear for everyone. So in the next video we will discuss more than 2 problems. Remaining you have to solve on your own because they are similar to the previous 2 problems. Okay, so now I will wind up this video. In the next video I will discuss the problems. Thank you.